Hey guys, connecting with you this morning, I wanted to go over a few things. Last time we talked about getting clarity on the manager, leader, and director roles, and I just really think it's important that we drive into those and really understand them. Seems minor, but as any basketball team or sports team will tell you, that you got to get the basics first, because if you don't get the basics right, those are gonna um, escalate and domino effect into a lot of other things. So I think it's important that we understand that there is a leader role in most manager positions, and we have to understand that. Drives me crazy that we call these people managers, because what they end up doing is focusing in on managing tasks, and they forget that they're leading people and they have that responsibility. And in my opinion, that's their number one job. So dive into that one, maybe pull up that video, go through it again, and we'll get into it a little bit more later. The second thing we talked about was the importance of getting your one-on-ones right, because again, this is foundational. And I think that if we don't separate operational meetings from personal growth meetings, we're gonna run into problems, and we're gonna lean into the operational because it's the easy thing to talk about. Talking about each other from a boss employee standpoint is a difficult conversation. No one understates that. It's a difficult conversation, but it's an important conversation. In fact, it's probably the most important conversation you'll have with your people. So make a point of pulling that out and getting it done. Okay, so with that, we're going to dive in a little bit more on a different subject today. Most leaders are very acutely aware of mission, vision, values, and the importance of getting those right. I add a couple to those. I add identity, and I add timing to it, because I think those are two important elements which are implied into the other ones, but I'm going to call them out. So rather than MVV, I'm going to call it IMTVV, and we'll go from there. So probably won't use that acronym much because it's too long, but you get the point. There's 5 items. And if you can visualize a concentric circle where these all pull out from each other, the center being the core identity. Now, I want to dive into a couple things, because I think it's important that we understand that we are an organization of people, obviously, right? But we don't act that way. We act as if it's an organization, if it's an entity with a heartbeat and a soul. Your business doesn't have a soul. It doesn't have these elements of physical life. So don't treat it that way. Start treating your people that way, and let your people drive the entity. Separate the two and start going down that path. So with that, when we talk about mission, vision, and values, drive those into your people. Sit down with your people, and the effort that you went through to create those for your business, go back and have every single person do it for themselves, especially on your leadership team, but I would encourage it throughout your organization. Simon Sinek calls this the why, understanding the why. Your why, right? Understanding your personal why. Well, I think it's super important, and I agree with him. I'll go a step further in saying that all 5 of these elements are necessary. The why behind all 5 of these elements are necessary. Understanding what is your identity, understanding what is your mission, understanding what is the timing, understanding what is your vision, understanding what are your values. When we understand and have clarity on all of those, it helps us to live a more directed life. It helps us to, the values will establish guardrails along your path, and it helps you to not go off the road of life that you have established for yourself. You've set this vision forward, and these guardrails will help you, guide you. So I think I'm going to leave it with that for now. We'll come back to it in each one and dive in a little bit deeper on the next video. So I just want to kind of express, again, going to the foundations, understanding why we do the things that we do, getting clarity. A lot of people, a lot of leaders, I see this in coaching, and I see this through my leadership organizations. A lot of people put together a mission, a vision, values, really have no understanding or concept why what they just did, and they go through the next year never referring to it, never looking at it or anything like that. And then there are those who use it every day and understand its influence and drive it through their organization. Which do you think are the more successful organizations? So, with that, we'll talk to you soon, and thanks for hanging out. We'll talk to you soon.